All right, nerds, it is that time once again. We have another shout-out episode. So here I am shouting. That's not a good joke. All right, so not as big of a week as last week, but still progress forward, and it's amazing. And I love you, nerds. Thank you very much for all of the new follows and the interactions and stuff. So the socials have definitely slowed down. So if you can hear my voice and you are not following me on at least one proper social media outlet, I know a lot of people count YouTube as social media, and I think that's silly. But if you are not following on like Twitter or Facebook, kind of gets neglected. So if you're not following on Twitter or Instagram or something along those lines, you should go check it out. And yeah, thank you very much for that. And let's get into this, because I don't have anything but YouTube announcements for the shout outs and the comments and stuff. Kind of is what it is. Let's get into it. Let's get to the primary YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy. We have a few new followers. We have Samson Lee Sang, Maynard Fester, Stand for Liberty, and Ray Jacobs, all new subscribers this week who have kept their settings to public so we can see who they are. Thank you very much, nerds, for the follows. I definitely look forward to hearing from some of you. I've already heard from some of you on videos that we don't talk about on this show anymore, but yeah, definitely look forward to hearing your input on future endeavors. So welcome, nerds, to the fold. And then we have on the secondary YouTube channel, which is the Nerd News Clips channel, we have a couple new followers. We have Tamil Selvin and the One Real Dookie. You poop. Thank you very much, nerds, for the follow. Likewise, I look forward to hearing from you in the comments section in the days and weeks and months and years to come, hopefully. Thank you very much, nerds. Let's get into the viewer mail, shall we? So this is a comment on the main section, main channel rather. Nick Cregan, sitting down with Generally Nerdy. This is my interview with the Marcus Jet actor Nick Cregan from the CW Batwoman show. Christopher Ortiz, a longtime contributor to the channel, has said, "That's so cool, you met Nick Cregan." He was a lot cooler than I anticipated. I'm gonna put it that way. So at events like Starfest, usually the younger actors who are in something that's a little bit more recent, not the coolest. Honestly, most of them don't even sit down with the small media outlets. So I did my diligence and I reached out to Cregan before the Comic-Con, and tried to get as much information to him about me as possible beforehand, so that way when I approached him, even though technically speaking I wasn't supposed to approach him on the show floor, I did anyway because it's the end of the show and it's the last time that they're going to be doing that show. So it was like, who am I really going to piss off? So I had to take my opportunity. He recognized me from the reach out through the social medias, and that is what got me the interview. So honestly, and I'm kind of directing this specifically to you, Christopher. I know you are wanting to do something like this in a different vein. It's not just pop culture stuff. You want to do something a little more specialized. So in order to get these interviews that I have got on the channel, it's really just a matter of just asking enough times, and eventually somebody's going to say yes. And then once you get that first yes, it becomes slightly easier for the second yes, and then the third yes, and so on and so forth. So it's just drive, boss. You just got to do the thing, and eventually it starts to work. So that is what we got there. Let's get into the Clips channel comments. We have over on the comic book Nerd News Comics with the, what is that, from last week? Yeah, the comic book clips from last week. George Perez, Batman, Man Cave Theater says, recently ordered Dear Detective and Damned. Kiddo, I'm looking forward to it. Super excited about that. I know I've already responded to this person in the comment section of that video, but definitely come back and let's have a conversation about this, because I've read Damned. It's a great damn book. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I hope you do too. But Dear Detective, I just love that art so much. so much. Bermejo is amazing. He's also the one who did Damned, but yeah, Lee Bermejo, whew, I'm bummed that I can't get that book yet as well. So let's have that conversation, shall we? Our next one comes from last week's. It was a short, actually. It was the nerd rant, I believe I did. Either way, it was Game of Thrones versus House of the Dragon. This comment is from Red Clan Wool, and Red Clan Wool says, the beginning was brutal, despite how it's depicted to be, quote, joyful, with everyone talking and knights killing each other. It was like a football game. The Red Wedding was much different, like you said. We all thought Robb was going to live, only for that cold betrayal. And then that knife sunk into Robb's fiancée. It stabbed us all. All right, so yes, I think you are just kind of reiterating the sentiment of what I did in that short. Whether or not it is the exact words that I used, that's what I was going for, is that there was a lot more stakes in the Red Wedding than in that birthing scene in the first episode of House of the Dragon. So the fact that there is a debate as to which one was more effective seems really silly to me, because the first episode of any show, if you have some major event happen, the weight of that doesn't actually hit until much later in the run of that show. So the fact that that was the first episode means it was rather ineffective, because these are all characters that we don't know or have learned to care about yet. The fact that the Red Wedding happened so deep into us learning to love these characters, it means that we felt betrayed by George R.R. Martin and the showrunners of Game of Thrones, because these were characters that should have gone on to do more things. Honestly, in the books even, there was a lot more stuff that I think it was Robb that made it out of the... I'm very probably wrong. I think that all the people who died in the book also died in the show, but I hadn't read the book at the time, so I didn't know that. My buddy who had warned me that I was not going to be happy, and he was right. So yeah, the effectiveness of the Red Wedding is leagues beyond the effectiveness of that birthing scene at the beginning of House of the Dragon, and I don't think there's really a discussion to be had there. Next, we're talking about, this is from the music section from last week. Trans-Siberian Flames, Veil Brides, Murder Dolls, just word salad for the title. This comes from Chris Biersack, and I appreciate this from Mr. Biersack. Chris Biersack says, it says the truck was supposed to deliver all of the gear, did not arrive. So that, if you're wondering what the heck that's about, Black Veil Brides didn't play their show in Colorado. I believe it was last week. It might have been 2 weeks ago now. Didn't play their show, even though the other two bands that they were on tour with did play their show. So I was thinking it had to have been some sort of weird technical glitch, but that didn't make sense to me, because if the first band played and the third band played, there's no reason why the second band shouldn't have been able to play. But apparently I missed something in my research, and there was a truck that was supposed to drop off gear that did not make it to the venue in time, so they could not set up. Not a technical issue, just an issue. So yeah, thank you very much for clarifying that. I super appreciate. I appreciate it whenever any of you guys correct me, or if you present me with information I was not previously aware of, and it changes the way I perceive something, or it changes the way I enjoy anything that we talk about here on the show. I'm very much appreciative. Or if it just gives me a different point of view that maybe I don't agree with, but I can understand better, then that's appreciated even. So thank you very much, nerds, for all of the interactions. If you want to interact, if you want to join the conversation and contribute to the channel, then the comment section is where to do it. Or the live show that we do most Fridays. Coming up, that's not going to be the case. We're going to do one this Friday, but... well, as you're watching this, actually, it probably has already passed. So we did one last Friday, and then it's going to be another few weeks before we have another opportunity to do a Friday show, because I have things going on, trying to get other interviews at other shows and concerts and things, and maybe another Kevin Smith interview if only I could be that suave again. Either way, thank you very much, nerds. That's the end. That's all we have for viewer mail. So we'll see you in the next one. There will be another viewer mail video probably in a week. Oh, and we'll talk to you then. But before we go from this one, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.